Thanks for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast, including YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Hello, I'm Stephen Willis, and I'm likely the only person that you're going to listen to today that has had an office in the Manning Center at Ole Miss and worked in the national media with Yahoo Sports. I actually worked in the local media as well with WSMV in Nashville, Tennessee. Thanks everybody for joining us. I'm joined by Tom Vanderford for his weekly spot. It's Saturday morning. So we're getting ready for Ole Miss and Memphis this afternoon and a fine day of championship game football. How you doing, Tommy?
Doing great, man. Glad to be here.
Yeah, I was talking to you off air before we went on, and we can go ahead and get started on it. The college football playoff thing is doing something that's at a minimum very weird, at a maximum intentional. And what I mean by that is number one is Georgia, and they had no choice but to rank Georgia number one because Georgia was number one from the very beginning. Then if you look all the way down at 7 is Texas, and I'm including Texas and Oklahoma in this for a reason. Number 8 is Alabama. Number 9 is Mizzou. Number 11 is Ole Miss. Number 12 is Oklahoma. Number 13 is LSU. Alabama has been unable to jump Texas. Texas has been unable to move up. After Ohio State got beat, they moved down to in front of Texas. This feels like it is intentional from the committee for Texas and Oklahoma going to the SEC.
Oh, I completely agree. I also think that for the first time I can remember, I don't know if it's because it's been so many times that it's been an all SEC final, but the committee's not ranking the teams like they should. Just from my perspective as an Ole Miss homer, right? We have better wins than Missouri. We have better wins than Penn State. Alabama is much better than some of the teams that are ranked ahead of them. If you look at the strength of schedule for Ohio State and Michigan, they're extremely low. Or the actual, ranking is high. Ole Miss has the number 5 strength of schedule. I think those other teams are in the 20s or the 30s. It just doesn't feel like it normally did with the committee. And yeah, I think there's something nefarious going on. I think there is some anti-SEC bias in the committee. And I do think that Oklahoma and Texas are being penalized for going to the SEC.
Yeah, but even the way you look at it, if anybody wants to talk about it, and everybody's going to want to say that the SEC is down, if you look at it, 7 out of the 13 teams, the top 13 teams in the next to the last college football playoff ranking are 2024 SEC teams, if you include Texas and Oklahoma. 7 out of 13. And the playoff committee just puts that gap in there because they want the feather in their cap to where, hey, if Alabama can just beat Georgia, we'll have an excuse to keep the SEC out of the playoff because the SEC is down. No, it's not down. It's not down at all. Y'all are just listening to some bad advice. The playoff committee is doing the thing where they're listening to the uncle about going pro when they know dang well that players are going to be an undrafted free agent at best. That is what's happening. Fox is the drunk uncle, essentially, of college football right now.
I completely agree. I'm irritated at the whole thing, but at the same time, I look at the possibilities for Ole Miss are still good for this year and even better for next year. I was glad to see Pegues is coming back. That gave me a big smile.
And you also look at the tweet from Walker Jones. He had 5 sharks on it. And I don't know if all those 5 sharks were for JJ Pegues or if it was for individual players. So we'll see exactly how that plays out.
Exactly. Well, the besides the fake tweet today, where some Auburn folks tried to tweet that Judkins was entering the portal. The main thing that Walker's probably trying to do is keep these kids at home and from entering the portal, the ones that we really, really, really need. Hopefully those kids are all locked up.
I did a show on Friday to where I said I gave my top 5 list of players that Ole Miss should try to retain. And I left Quinshon Judkins off of that list. And the reason is he's the most expensive player on the team. And if you go into too much more money, it's going to be taken away. So you could have the best running back in the country, but the wide receiver room could be lacking. The offensive line could be lacking. And the goal of ours should be to do as well as we can and make the playoff. So what is your opinion? Who are two of the must sign players besides JJ Pegues, because he would probably be in the top 2 regardless, but who do you think that Ole Miss needs to sign for this season?
That's already at Ole Miss?
Yes, re-sign.
Perkins. I know he didn't play a whole lot this year, but Perkins. And man, let me think. I don't know for the other one. I really don't, because I'm like you. I want to keep Jackson Dart. I do. I want to keep Judkins, but we've got able people behind both of them. If Trey Harris would be willing to come back, I'd like to keep him. But we're looking really good in the portal. We're looking good with Deion Smith. So, I don't know, man. Who are you?
The number one re-sign player is Jackson Dart for me, just because this is a quarterback game. Quarterbacks are always going to be number one. And then I had JJ Pegues, which that doesn't count. And then number 3, I had Trey Harris.
Okay. Yeah.
And the other 2 I had was Caden Priestcorn and John Saunders.
I would like to keep both those guys too.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know Saunders had more time. Yeah, I definitely want to keep him.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I was sitting in my top 5. Now, with the bowl preferences coming up, what's kind of your preferences going into tomorrow? Where do you want Ole Miss to go?
I'm probably going to get verbally browbeaten for this, but with all the crap that's going on with the committee, I'm perfectly happy with us going to the Citrus Bowl.
It's $9 million. It pays $3 million more than you would get if you went to a NY6 bowl game. So it's a fairly good consolation prize.
It's good money, and we would probably be playing Iowa, which they have a really good defense, not much on the offense, and it would just it would be nice. I can't remember us ever going to the Citrus Bowl, so that would be a good thing.
And obviously, it's 50 miles from my front door.
If it is a New Year's Six Bowl, I hope we go to the Cotton.
Yeah, I'd like to see Ole Miss play Texas. I think the storylines and that'd be pretty awesome. But it should be fun. Anyway, let's change gears a little bit. It's getting into December and basketball season. This is the 7th basketball game of the Chris Beard era. They have sold out the Pavilion. Memphis is coming to town. Ole Miss is 6-0. They looked absolutely fantastic Tuesday night. What do you think about this basketball team?
I was concerned before the North Carolina State game. I thought we looked really good against NC State. I like that Musa Cisse is going to be available for the Memphis game. I hope we get the guard from Georgetown. His name escapes me.
Brandon Murray.
Yeah, I hope we get him cleared pretty soon. If we do, and the team keeps gelling, I love the defense. They play really good defense. I can't remember. I don't think we've ever had 2 7-footers on our basketball team.
I don't remember.
But, Cisse is extremely athletic. I think he'll add a lot to it. And I think we can make a deep run. I think we're heads and shoulders above where we were last year. Even our players that came back are showing up and showing out. So, it's just this guy's a really good coach, and his staff's really good. I mean, the Flanagan kid. I know his dad's one of the assistant coaches, but the kid's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've just got lots of good players, and I do love that we play defense. I love it.
Well, one thing that's really interesting to me, and I had Tim Thomas on the show this week, is Matthew Morrell has kind of embraced being the third option on the team. And he's just enjoying kind of playing basketball. He doesn't have to be the guy. There's no pressure on him. And he's playing defense, and he's really free because he's a super athletic kid. But just think, if Brandon Murray gets on this roster as well, Matthew Morrell potentially becomes the number 4 option on this team. And that is a crazy thought for people to have.
Yeah, that's in the last couple of years, our basketball program, of course, everybody knows, struggled. And it's just so refreshing to see a really good nucleus being put together and some really good coaching.
Yeah. Yeah, their offensive movement and everything in the NC State game, I mean, it was crisp. It was sharp. It was bang, 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 shot goes in. Somebody on the NC State board said that they need to petition to change the name of Ole Miss to Ole Make because they were making everything. And I thought that was pretty funny.
It was a good game.
Yeah, absolutely was. I'm telling you, I put on the bottom thing, everything's coming up Millhouse for Ole Miss sports. And right now, I mean, it's kind of crazy how well things are going for Ole Miss sports, both football, basketball, women's basketball. They lost in Louisville, but Louisville's ranked. They're going to be fine.
Not only that, I see that team coming together too.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to be tougher and tougher as time goes on.
Yeah, it should be quite interesting.
Yeah.
Thanks for making this the Locked On Ole Miss podcast. Your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast, including YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Tommy, thank you very much. This is airing on Saturday morning. When I talk to you again, we'll know where we're going, and potentially I should have some portal news by then. I'm expecting to have something pretty early Monday.
Good deal, man. That's awesome.
All right. Well, take care, Tom. I'll talk to you later, buddy.
Yes, sir. Hotty toddy.
Hotty toddy.